Affairs program, bringing to you interesting guests to inform you on topics that affect us all. Operation 7570 is one of the longest-running radio programs of its type. It's been on the air since 1967 and brought to you by Apex Bank of Camden. 3 locations in Camden, Big Sandy and Brewston. Today's program after this.
Apex Bank of Camden is getting ready for the 15th annual Easter egg hunt. That's right, it's West Tennessee's largest Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 8th at 11 a.m. at the Briarwood School Field. There will be over 10,000 eggs, lots of prizes, and the Easter Bunny will be there. Don't miss it, folks. Bring the kids ages 2 to 8 to Apex Bank's 15th annual Easter egg hunt, Saturday, April the 8th at 11 a.m. at the Briarwood School Field. Happy Easter, everyone, from Apex Bank. Apex Bank, building stronger communities together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome today to Operation 7570 on this Saturday, the second Saturday of April. Lots going on today. Of course, the Easter egg hunt over at Apex Bank, the annual Apex Bank Easter egg hunt. It's over there in the lot, I think, across from First Baptist Church then. And as far as we know, even though it's overcast, maybe a little dampness out there. We understand it's still on right now, so, maybe you want to wear some tennis shoes or something. You don't care getting dirty, maybe a little wet, that sort of thing. But that's always a fun event, and we know they'll have a great job out there today. In our studios today, we have a couple of people that's going to talk about an annual tradition up at Holiday, held the third week in April each and every year, the Old Time Bluegrass and Fiddlers Jamboree. It's scheduled for next week, and to talk about that today, Stephen Stokes and Caitlin Arnold Spivey. Welcome, folks. Thanks for getting up today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We get to spend 2 Saturdays in a row with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, yeah. Always a big event, always a big event. Hey, everybody was so glad to get it back last year after a 2-year hiatus.
We were. We had so many people that came up to us and they said, we're so glad to be back. It's like a family reunion for so many people in the bluegrass community. So it was great for us to see them. It was great for them to see people that they hadn't got to see as well.
You both grew up knowing what the Fiddlers Contest was all about from an early age, elementary school, come on up now to young adults and still working with it. So what makes the weekend next week, and we'll talk more about specifics, but what makes it so unique for 65 years?
I think what makes it so unique for 65 years is the fact that it has been going on for so long. It was first created 67 years ago when my parents, Caitlin's grandparents, were, I think, juniors in high school. You had folks like Betty Jo Douglas, Charles Douglas, and those that got in there and got it started and ramped it up, and it has just never lost its fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it started, 1956, I believe it was, or
would be.
somewhere around that, and it's been going strong ever since. Ever since, yeah.
It has, and I think that's one reason we're so involved with it is because our families started it, and so it's like our baby. We all take care of it and want it to continue to grow, and it's such a vital part of our community and holiday.
You never plan anything for the third Saturday. Neither one of you plan anything for the third Saturday in April each and every year. You know where you're going to be.
That is correct.
That's right. I've told Seth when we were dating, I said, look, we have plans the third Saturday of April for the rest of my life. So that's just something you're going to have to deal with. And sometimes it falls during turkey season, and we've done good so far.
Not this year, but sometimes it falls on Easter weekend,
yes,
as a matter of fact. But we're a week in advance of that, of course, and we're looking forward to it. And, we talk about, of course, the big events on Saturday. And again, we'll get into more specifics about that in just a little bit. But actually, events start Friday night. Well, actually before Friday night, because you had about a month ago, you had up there the pageant.
Yes, we added in the pageant, 16, 18 years ago, somewhere in there. Oh, it was our Sweet 16 this year, so 16 years ago. Yeah. And that was just another way to get more involvement. And we're the only local pageant that's been running for that long in our community. They go on to be in the Strawberry Festival. Last year we had the Queen in our junior division was 4th runner-up at the Strawberry Festival, and we have a lot of great representatives that will be going on this year to represent us there in Humboldt in May.
Did you have a lot of participation at the pageant a few Saturdays ago?
Yes, we did. We had contestants all the way. We had a contestant from Cookeville that came in. We had contestants, of course, lots of West Tennessee communities, Jackson, Dyersburg, Humboldt, all the surrounding counties. We had tons of participation, so we are so thankful for that, and we just can't wait to see how they perform at the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact that it is a territorial pageant in advance of the Strawberry Festival, and go a little bit further, explain the connection and how that came about with the fine folks in Humboldt a few years ago.
So my sister Carrie was the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival Territorial Queen before she was Miss Tennessee, and they became such good friends with the chamber in Humboldt and all the directors of the Strawberry Festival. They thought, hey, let's come up with a way that we can be a part of that as well, because the Old Time Bluegrass Fiddlers Jamboree is such a tourism driver for our community, and this is another way to draw tourism in, because those pageant winners not only come in for our pageant, but they also come back to participate in the parade and be there for the events on Saturday. So it just really fell into what our goals were for the Fiddlers Contest. And so Carrie and Marty and Stephen, Tracy, Tina, my dad, everybody worked together with Janet Richardson out of Paris to kind of get us to be a qualifier for the the Strawberry Festival, which is another long-going festival in Tennessee.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the president of the Strawberry Festival is from Camden, a native of Camden, Shane Lynch. You know Shane?
Yes.
He's supposed to be coming in 2 or 3 Saturdays.
Great.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Strawberry Festival. We're going to talk about that and what to expect that weekend. And he's also, he's a lifelong Boy Scout. He's got a lot of connection with Camp McMorris, so I've been trying to get him on, and I think we've got him coming in maybe 28th or 29th, whatever that last Saturday is. So we're looking forward to that.
That will be great.
It's good, and it's good to see our communities connecting. That's what the whole driver here is. It's a great economic opportunity whenever you can connect communities in certain ways, and so I think that's been a real good drive.
Stephen, where does the Fiddlers activities, where does it get funding from? I mean, you give out a lot of prize money in all the different categories of competition, so how is it funded?
So it's funded, a lot of our funding comes from donors. I'm going to let Caitlin talk more about that because she is the one who drives the sponsorships. So, but we get a lot of our funding from the Tourism Board, the TRRD more specifically. We get a lot of our funding from that. That helps to front those costs and offset those costs, and helps us to advertise and market our county throughout Middle and West Tennessee, as well as parts of Kentucky and parts of Mississippi and out in Alabama as well. So that's I feel like that's how we get so many people from out of town right here in our little hometown.
Caitlin, if you want to add to that, go right ahead.
Yeah, so we could not do this, of course, without the TRD board, but our local sponsors, our businesses really show out for this. They're full-year sponsors every year, and we're looking for more sponsors. It is not too late to sponsor. So if you're listening and your business would like to sponsor, you can just shoot us a message on our Facebook page, Holiday School, or shoot myself or Stephen a message. But our local businesses really show out to help us put this on and participate, volunteer, and we could not do it without them.
Yeah,
Certainly.
and years and years, you had the advertising signs up there, and it's sometimes the different categories of competition, they're sponsored by a different
That's right.
business or organization, and that's great, and that's what sustains it. It's what sustains it.
It does.
And I think it's great because those sponsors, their logo is up there announced through the competition, and all these people that are not from our area, they're exposed to businesses within our community. So when they're visiting, if they need to go to the pharmacy, if they need to go to the grocery store, or if they just are visiting another time, they're like, hey, or they're moving into the area, they'll have been exposed to some of these businesses within our community already through our event.
And we talk about the weekend, we talk about the big event on Saturday, also activities on Friday, but hey, you just don't start today planning for next weekend, Stephen. This takes months and months of planning, and I'm sure you may meet as soon as this one's over with. Well, how did this go? Can we do things better in 2024, things like that?
We're constantly looking at ways that we can make it better, whether it's just one-on-one conversations with each other, or our executive board and our PTH gets together, and we're constantly we're seeking out ways, to make it better, connecting with other communities. What makes yours a success? So we take those things into account and see how we can implement them into our own festival, and then we even try to reach out to people that may not be a fan of fiddling, but they might come for the food, or they might come for some other activities that we have to offer. And even while they're here, they're exposed to other things that Benton County has to offer as well. Patsy Cline, it's from that to our river, for fishing and recreation. So
Yeah, and people will come. People mark this on their calendars. I see familiar faces every year. I see familiar faces. May not can call their names offhand, but I recognize the face and I recognize where they're from, and all around. And it's not just from the Middle and West Tennessee area. Our immediate area. You have a lot of people come in from the surrounding states.
We do.
We do, and you probably know more of them than we do. Being on Flash is on the stage. If y'all don't know that, Flash is a vital part of our Fiddlers Contest, and we're thankful for him. So you get to hear where they're from more so sometimes than we do, because you're on the stage announcing them. And like you said, the man with the feather in the hat. We all know him. I don't know his name. Rob Piercy. You know his name, but I know him as the man with the feather in his hat. And we're so thankful for them that come year after year, because they're what make it so special for us.
Stephen, are there as many similar events as there were a few years ago? I know Wayne used to go around, Wayne Holiday, and we appreciate Wayne. Looking forward to seeing him. He used to go around and promote what we're doing in Holiday. He would promote it at other similar events. Do we have as many events now as we did a few years ago like that?
I know in talking, I have not spoken with any of the folks that kind of hit up the different events, but I do speak with people who attend those. We do have those events, and we do try to link our Facebook page, I think, to theirs, and try to draw in folks through Facebook. Instagram is one that we picked up this year too, so we're also now on Instagram. So.
Yeah, and I know they have a gigantic one, and it may go longer than ours does. Smithville, I forgot what the time of the year. Smithville has a big one every year, and I've seen that on public television. And some of the people that compete up there in those categories, I've seen them down here at Holiday.
Of course you have.
Yes. And Tommy Jackson and his crew, they've been very vital to helping us come up with some good ideas. He was our Grand Marshal last year. Of course, they travel along with a lot of these others. In the Dixon County Bluegrass community has been very vital in helping us to continue to make our festival grow.
Young lady, I haven't seen her there in the last few years, and sometimes they use the Fiddler Contest and similar events. They use like as a springboard. And Ivy Phillips.
Yes,
Ivy Phillips.
did.
Now she's playing with a female musical group, High Road. It
Yes.
does a lot of Christian faith-based concerts.
Yep. It's been a good starting point for a lot of people. And then even Ron Holiday, he played numerous years on the bluegrass stage at Holiday. And we've had Vince Gill's fiddle player. So it's just been, for the bluegrass community, it's something that they look forward to. And it, like you said, it starts them out for very...
Yeah, and of course, unfortunately he passed away, and I can't even think of his name, but a fellow that was in competition a few years ago up there, he played fiddle at one time as a young man. He played fiddle with Roy Acuff, and he's competed up there as well. And Mike Snyder's been there.
Yes.
John Hartford, I guess when y'all were kids, John Hartford,
Yeah,
So
it's unique for West Tennessee. There's nothing else in West Tennessee like this, and we are one of the longest festivals in our area. 65 years of a tradition that just keeps growing and getting better year after year.
and we appreciate the work that you folks do. Wayne Holiday, we mentioned Keith and everybody, all the Arnold sisters, of course. But hey, there are so many people that volunteer in so many things. They do so many things behind the scenes that the public out there watching it and enjoying it, we see them have a good time. But there's a lot of things the people that have come for the music don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Right. I mean, from the food to the concession stand to shirts and advertising. It takes so many volunteers to pull this off, and it's not just people that have a child in the school. It's members of the community that have been a part of this since they were in school that come back year after year to help in some way. There's so much that goes on in the kitchen. They'll start getting ready for cooking this weekend and work all through next week getting things ready. The gym will be getting ready. Marty's at the school making sure everything is set up. There's stuff on the stage that has to be done. Our sound guys, and we suffered a loss. The owner of the sound company, Jack Phelps, passed away within the last week, and our thoughts and prayers go out to that family. But we'll fill that void from him missing, because he was always that smiling face that was off on the side of the stage. His sons have kind of been running it for a while, but he was always there. So we couldn't do it without all of these individuals that throw in a hand.
There were over 100 volunteers last year. That's 100 volunteers in one little spot. So you can imagine. I mean, it is a lot of work. It is a lot. I spoke with Joey Dale yesterday. He's going to be firing at the pits this week, and so he's already been doing some prep on that. So we're looking forward to his barbecue and all those that go in. There's a lot of people that go in behind the scenes that get those things ready.
Yeah.
That takes a lot, the food, the barbecue, the shoulders. Joy Dale and his staff, they do an outstanding job year in and year out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that is just a well-oiled machine when you see them on Friday night. They're all night, Friday night long. And,
Absolutely.
every now and then somebody might sneak, and get a piece, sample the products, and you might get some good. You might
I don't
get,
know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I know. You might get some good advice. If you sneak back there, Joy Dale's ready to give you some good advice amongst this fine staff.
He is, and it's something like I'm seeing it in a different set of eyes with my kids now. Like Scout is so excited for the Fiddlers contest, and I can remember being so excited to get to spend the whole weekend at school and see people that knew me from other areas because I was running in or out, and we've watched people's kids grow up. Now I'm getting to watch my kids grow up during this, and so it's a big family affair.
And all the kids, all the classes, all the grades up there at Holiday, they get involved, don't they? They get involved, and their parents get involved with it for sure.
They feel the hype as well. The kids do. The teachers do. The parents. It's the whole community. I see in the Discover magazine. We're in the Discover magazine, and I had them to interview Wayne Holiday for that, and I see the topic of the top headline there is Fiddlers Jamboree is the glue for Holiday community, and it truly is. It truly is the glue. I've always said that no matter which living room or whose home you're in Holiday, you're at home. I mean, it doesn't matter whose living room you're in. But for people to come into our community and see that, we love that. We invite them in.
The proceeds that are raised next weekend, what do the proceeds go for?
So those go to the Holiday PTH. That way we can help to fund things that might not be funded through our school board. We have a very generous school board, and we have a great one. But there might be things more specific to our students at Holiday, and we can use this funding, that the proceeds from the event, to boost that experience for our kids.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the school board's very generous, but there are things,
Absolutely.
They can't fund everything. And down through the years, a lot of things have been
Correct.
funded. A lot of things have been funded thanks to the proceeds from the Fiddlers
Sure.
Weekend.
Sure,
right.
that's right. Now we're doing something different this year on Friday night. We're having the Double H Band. I think that my favorite song that they do is Wagon Wheel, but they do a variety of music, and they draw a variety in age and with their crowds, with their music. So I'm looking very forward to that. That is something we're doing different this year on Friday night.
And it used to be something they used to do, a street dance. I've heard about this my entire life. I don't remember it, but they're like, we used to do a street dance. So it's kind of taken us a throwback to something we used to do, and we're also still tying in our local talent that'll be kicking us off at 6:30, because that's not something we wanted to let go. We wanted to try something different, but we still wanted to feature those in our community and their talents as well.
You don't remember the street dance. You really make me feel old now. Goodness
Yeah, it's
gracious.
making me feel old,
Oh,
too.
man. I know.
I think I was in college when we did that.
Yeah. 2020, 2021, when we could not have it because of the pandemic, how bad did you both miss third weekend in April?
It was very depressing.
Yeah.
I think us and you did Flash, and Stephen, you're not on Facebook, so I can't throw you in there. But we were all doing throwbacks on Facebook. Other people that attend the festivals in different areas, they were sharing where they normally would be. And just from my perspective, we were all nervous last year. Coming back after having 2 years off, everything was a lot more expensive, getting the word out that we were back. And it was Easter weekend. And Easter weekend is always hard because it does pull people away. And we want it's the most important weekend of the year. And we want people to be with their families celebrating Jesus' resurrection. And we're so thankful that we live in the Bible Belt, and that's something that is celebrated so strongly here. But it was a hard weekend for us because we were like, it's Easter weekend, we're coming back. We just hope we have 5 people show up. And we had an amazing turnout.
We did.
We had an amazing turnout, and so we're expecting even bigger this year.
Oh, I think there's no doubt. And by the way, speaking of Easter, a couple of weeks ago, First United Methodist Church at Holiday United Methodist Church up there, wonderful, wonderful Easter-related program. That was outstanding. I really enjoyed going through.
Thank you, thank you. We put a lot of work into that, and we're thankful that the school, we could use that because we're able to do it whether it rains or if it's sun shining outside, we're able to do that. Just share the message of Jesus' journey to the cross, and so we're glad to do that. A little funny with that, we've got a little girl that goes to our church, and we were talking about there's going to be music playing, and she said, oh, I bet it'll be like banjos and fiddles, because she's been to the Fiddlers contest, so that's what she thought was, and we were like, no, that is our thing, but not this weekend. But it was just funny that kids catch on to that. She's not from Holiday, she's from Camden, and had been to the Fiddlers contest one time, and she knew that that's what we're known for.
Well, as we think back and reflect back, of course, we mentioned the street dance a few years ago, of course, and as we think back and reflect, Stephen, so many people have come through that have helped in various capacities. Third weekend in April, so many people have come through doing their roles and making things great for everybody else to enjoy. But we've lost so many people that were a big part of the weekend.
We have, but their spirit's still there. It's still alive in our hearts and in our community. So they're still there.
Absolutely, and the list is too numerous to mention. I'm not even going to try, but everybody in the past, we know they're looking down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do right now. Let's take a break for our sponsor, our friends at Apex Bank. And when we come back, we'll talk more about next weekend's Fiddler's Weekend in Holiday, Tennessee. Stay with us.
Apex Bank of Camden is getting ready for the 15th annual Easter egg hunt. That's right, it's West Tennessee's largest Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 8th at 11 a.m. at the Briarwood School Field. There will be over 10,000 eggs, lots of prizes, and the Easter Bunny will be there. Don't miss it, folks. Bring the kids ages 2 to 8 to Apex Bank's 15th annual Easter egg hunt, Saturday, April the 8th at 11 a.m. at the Briarwood School Field. Happy Easter, everyone, from Apex Bank. Apex Bank, building stronger communities together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're back on Operation 7570 this morning. Glad to have you with us. And we're talking with Caitlin Arnold Spivey, and we're talking with Stephen Stokes about activities associated with the annual Old Time Bluegrass and Fiddlers Jamboree. That's coming up next weekend, third weekend in April, like it always is. And as I look at the calendar, it seems like the event's coming early this year, about as early as we can have it, I think.
Yes, it feels like it's really snuck up on us, which I feel like the first half of the year has just flown by, and now here it is.
Yep. And I want to thank both of you, because when I set this up a few weeks ago, I had you scheduled to come in last week, and I appreciate you, changing your schedule to be with us today, because we lost Ron Lane March 12th, and we set up last week, the day before his memorial at First Baptist. We set up to have some people to reflect back on the life of Ron Lane last weekend, and I appreciate y'all, switching up with us so we can do that program.
Yes, Ron was also, he came to the Fiddlers Contest so many years and interviewed and was there, and so we'll miss his face as well.
We really, really will. No question about that. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to tell you, Caitlin touched on the T-shirts a few moments ago. Now, we just received these yesterday, and of course they've got our fiddling man on the front there. And on the back, I'm not sure if you can see this, but on the back, it's got our 65th year.
Ooh.
Of course, got our fiddler man just a little bit bigger. We're very proud of him. So, and this is our 2023 shirt, and we'd like to gift you this one.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So that
Thank
you'll
you so
have that
much.
next weekend.
Oh, I look forward to it. Always like my shirts.
Absolutely.
Even got the one that was already pre-printed for 2 years ago and 3 years ago, as a matter of fact.
That was when we were really ahead of the game for 2020. Shirts were in at the beginning of March, and we were so ready, and then everything shut down and we had all these shirts, but people have still bought them and still wear them, and that's been a favorite thing of ours, is being able to see people out in the community wearing our shirts. And then the shirts from years past, Marty was wearing his 2000 shirt, and then Scout likes to pull out some of mine at my grandmother's from the 1990s and wear those. But something new this year, we're also going to have caps. And we hadn't had caps in a while.
That's right.
So we're going to have caps with a leather patch on there with our logo on there. So we're excited about those. So when you're out at the Fiddlers Contest, if you want a cap, you want to get those first, because those will probably go fast. We're expecting them to.
I may have asked both of you this in the past, but my memory's not what it used to be. But who did the little fiddle man? Who did that logo a few years ago? Do y'all know?
Well, now, I know we've had a few little renditions of it, but now Dana did one. I think Dana Bell.
Right.
She did one. Now I think he was sitting under a tree on the one
Yes.
that he did.
Yep.
I don't know about this one.
I
can't
think
remember.
Christy Halsey beefed him up a little bit for us.
Yeah.
But there's been so many renditions of him
Sure.
that in the year, kind of trying to not modernize him a little bit, but just kind of keep him up to date a little bit.
Absolutely. And all corporations,
Yes.
all corporate logos, you do that every now and then. You have a revamp. You have a revamp.
Yes, and so
of that.
we've stayed true because the Fiddleman, people love the Fiddleman and who he is. And if the parade, the Fiddleman is always in the parade.
Yes, that's true.
Mr. Wayne Holiday always makes sure the Fiddleman is in the parade. He is on the tractor coming through, and that's another big part. The kickoff on Saturday is the parade.
Well, all right. We've already done it a little bit, talking about what we can be in store for, but let's rehash that and get into Saturday, if you folks will. Let's start
Definitely.
again with next Friday, what's going on and what time that event's, and just take us on into Saturday then.
So Friday, you can get there at 6:30 to hear local talent and the Double Edge Band. That band is great. Just, if you want to dance, there'll be people dancing. There'll be people just listening. It'll be a good night to just hang out as we kick off the night, and then that rolls into Saturday. Saturday, the official kickoff is the parade. That will be at 10:30 a.m. And we've had a lot of questions, and people call, do we have to pre-register? No, you just show up.
Right.
And if you're familiar with Holiday, you turn at Big Man's and you head towards the cemetery, and there are signs that will say parade registration. And you will see a bald man on a Ranger named Keith Arnold. And he and Christy Perry will get everybody lined up. He will probably send you to Christy, and she will tell you what to do. And everyone gets lined up over there on, we call it the little circle at Holiday, on the backside over there by Cookie Cox's house, and everybody will be lined up. And then that parade goes through downtown Holiday. And so you just show up. If you are a sports team, an organization, if you want a pageant, or if you just want to get your grandkids on a trailer and decorate it up, we encourage everyone to come. Antique cars, Jeeps. We would love to see everyone at the parade that kicks us off that morning.
I've even encouraged Miss Vicky and you all to create a float and put in the parade. So
I heard about that.
Yes.
I heard about that.
kind of expect it.
Well, maybe next year. That's a point we can look forward to and try to work on it next year then as the time goes on, of course, then. But, I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful day. The parade time, 10:30?
10:30.
Okay. Then immediately afterwards, and even before the contest, the categories competition get underway, if people want some of that barbecue early, the lunchroom opens up. The lunchroom opens up
Yes.
immediately after the parade.
It does. But when people first get there and they start setting up for the parade, they're like, where is that wonderful smell coming from? And I'm like, well, it's out back. So, but that will be served immediately after the parade.
And that's a continuous line, it seems.
It
But it
is.
moves fast, and it is worth waiting in line for. That a lot of people come just for the barbecue.
They do.
And then they come back for the competition later on in the day, so we're excited for that.
Well, Steve, what about going over some of the areas of competition here? I just happened to bring that sheet
Yes,
in here so we
perfect.
could.
Well, of course, the contest
that.
does start at 1 o'clock, and we have over $6,000 worth of prizes to give out that day for people that are entering the competition. We have something here for all ages. We have the Pee Wee fiddlers, 10 and under, those that play the dobro. We have fiddlers aged 11 through 18. Then we have harmonicas, banjos, and it's for different categories. Now, we have a fiddle off that goes. It's about halfway through the competition. After that, now that it's funny because you'll see a lot of people come in just for those things, and then you'll see a little break, and then you'll have people coming in just to watch the buck dancing, and that kicks off a little through our square dancing first, then our buck dancing competition really kicks off throughout the night and just continues that. I don't have a word to describe the energy that's in that room whenever the buck dancing starts.
And in case for some reason everybody's going to enjoy that good barbecue, and how many shoulders did you say that he usually gets for the?
I'm not sure how many shoulders that they've ordered this year. I know I've already pre-ordered mine.
Sure. But in the event that you had rather have something other than the barbecue, there's all sorts of concessions: hamburgers, hot dogs,
Yes.
other parts. Yeah.
Yes. French fries, lots of good snacks and stuff that they have down there in the concession stand. And this contest is known to go into the wee hours of the morning, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. before when the competition is went. And we're thankful that we have so many participants in that. My favorite, I actually think, is the Bluegrass Band, and they're featured in the Discover magazine, one of the bands that participates every year. And we love hearing them. They play Jacob's Ladder's my favorite song that they play. But a lot of the bands, too, are pickup bands that are out in the parking lot that have been out there playing with just people that they run into, and they make a band and they get in compete. So if you are into music or bluegrass of any type and you're there next Saturday, get together with some of your friends and learn a song or two that you can come and be in that competition, because first place in the bluegrass bands is $750.
Woo.
Second place is $450, third is $250, fourth is $100, and fifth is $75. So it's worth it just to get in there, and even if you can only halfway sing, you just still need to try it.
Oh, absolutely. And in addition to what goes on the inside in the school gymnasium, there'll be a lot of pickup activities and a lot of pickup people. You may get somebody on the fiddle, somebody on the banjo, somebody with a guitar. They'll be out under the shade trees and maybe under the church porch, things like that.
Of course, that's yes, and that's just art within itself. it's great to see those people getting together, and like she said, they form bonds out there, new ones whenever they hear a sound they like, and then want to mix it with their own. So it's really fun.
Well,
to watch.
you mentioned a few minutes ago, Caitlin, you mentioned about Rob Piercy, the man with the hat, the man with the feather in the hat. He's going to compete in a lot of these categories.
Yes.
We know that for sure. But if he's not competing, then he's liable to be a backup, play backup on stage for another contestant.
And I think that's the best part that we like to see is, yes, it's a contest, but it's a friendly contest. I mean, they're supporting one another. They're all out there. They may, like you said, he's playing backup for somebody that may compete against him in the next instrument, because they're all so talented. Most of our musicians may play 2 or 3 different instruments, and they start young, and that's why we're glad we got that Pee Wee Fiddlers contest to see these young ones, to get them to fall in love with bluegrass at a young age.
Now, what is the admission price for next Saturday, or next Friday too?
Next Saturday, adults is $7 and students are $4. Of course, donations are always welcome if you'd love to give more than that. And then Friday night admission is $5 as well.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, anything above that, you're not going to refuse.
Yes, we will not refuse it because it all goes to a great cause. It goes to the Holiday School PTH and allows us to help the students within the school.
And as this has evolved again, and I have seen things in recent years, of course, a lot of people's up there, we know that, and people going in and out of the gym. But in recent years, there has been more with the staff like y'all and Marty up there and the people work with him. A lot of people going in. They've tried to rearrange, where the traffic flow will go much smoother in and out of the gym.
Yes, we've tried lots of different ways, and they've been real strategic. Marty and the crew have, of trying to find ways where people aren't necessarily having to wait outside, where they can sign up at, keep the flow going, and it keeps the competition flowing better as well. And so every year we try maybe a little something different to see how it's going to work, and so far everything's going like it should.
You mentioned the price of admission a few minutes ago, and let's just say somebody's there early at the 1 o'clock, he pays the price of admission, and something happens, he's got to come back into town, he's got to come back into Camden and check out something. He takes care of his business, and he wants to go back. The admission price, first admission, first admission price, is that still good?
Yes, because we do have one band, so they're able to get
Gotcha.
right back in with us.
Yeah. So you're good on Saturday, which the armbands only work on Saturday, but it's a great thing that allows people to go inside, outside, because there is so much going on in both places, and we want them to experience everything.
Yes, we do.
And that's one thing I've encouraged. The nighttime is probably my favorite, but I love the beginning. I love the competition. I love the parade, but I think the nighttime is when no one's missing that part. It's kind of gotten a little dark outside, and everyone's coming in because the bluegrass bands and the buck dancers. Rowdy is a good way to. That's a good word to.
Organized chaos, but
everybody gets in there, and I mean it's hooping and hollering, and you hear their buck dancing shoes hitting the floor, and it's just a great atmosphere.
It truly is.
Might we at some point during the day or the evening's activity, might we hear a number or two from the Arnold sisters?
You might. That's been a tradition my sisters and I have done every year right after the supper break is singing a song, whether it's just a short a cappella song or we've done some bluegrass tunes, and it was always we would practice, and then we had to let Nene and Ruru get out of the kitchen before we could start. So we would have to kill time, and Dad would be on stage, come up with something to say or someone to recognize that's in the crowd that maybe visited for every year and been there, so Nene and Ruru could get down there to hear us sing, and so that's something that we're glad to be able to do every year.
Absolutely, and sometimes you might even throw in a gospel song or an old-fashioned Loretta Lynn song or Dolly Parton. We never know what to expect.
Yeah, you never know what to expect. We were talking about that yesterday. What song are we going to practice this week? Now, sometimes we might practice an hour before, but we're getting excited about it.
Well, here's the thing. Bluegrass and old-time bluegrass and Fiddler's Jamboree, but if you enjoy bluegrass, you enjoy Southern gospel, you enjoy country music as well.
Yes.
They're all related.
Yes, and this just ties it all in together because the bluegrass community is so strong and so unique. Some of the songs that you'll hear there, you might not hear on the radio, but then you're going to be singing on the rest of the day, caught in your head. And seeing the transition of these performers, like you mentioned earlier, where they have been here and then they're off with other bluegrass groups, and seeing them grow in their career and that we played a part in that, that's a big deal for us.
Well, I remember years and years ago, I mentioned John Hartford. You remember John Hartford?
A little bit. I know Mike Snyder more than...
Yeah, I understand. He wrote Gentle on My Mind for Glenn Campbell, and he came down. Of course, he's passed away. But I guess it's 20 plus, at least 20, 25 years ago. He was up there, and he came, and I think he actually won a competition, but donated his money back. But anyway, I got the honor of interviewing him for a few moments then. Wish I still had that interview somewhere, and it may be in my stack of cassettes somewhere. But I said, hey, this event's in Holiday, Tennessee, rural Benton County, rural Northwest Tennessee. I said, you've written Gentle on My Mind. By the time I get to Phoenix, you could be on the Grand Ole Opry tonight. Why are you in Holiday, Tennessee? And that was about the fourth or fifth time he'd been there. And he says, I enjoy these events. I feel relaxed. I'm down at home, and, I feel like I'm one of you then. He said, those big stages like the Opry, that's great, and I've had my fun with them, but these are my type of people, the good point.
Yes, and that's, we've invited Miss Tennessee hoping that she'll come and hang out with us. Not necessarily it's just an appearance, but she's a clogger. And she was like, that's my type of people. That's what I like. And we said, well, come hang out with us for the weekend. You don't have to do anything special. Just enjoy being there. And that's something that we've tried to encourage others. I'm constantly, if I see someone online that's a musician that likes bluegrass, I'm like, hey, you should join us because this is something that you would love. This is an environment that you will want to come back to.
You're talking about Lauren? Right
No,
now?
this will...
Miss Tennessee volunteer?
Yes, Miss Tennessee volunteer.
Okay.
Paige
Yeah.
Clark.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, Paige, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, Hayden Peak from Holiday, she was up there and won a Governor's Volunteer Star Youth Award, and got her picture made up there. I'm kind of jealous, so maybe I'll make it up next week.
Well, Hayden, she is a big volunteer during this, and she works the concession. She works hard the whole time she's here, and her and Nikki both, we could not do it without all their help, because Nikki rounds up all these 100 volunteers for the competition, and she does a great job on doing that. She does a great job of helping us get the message out on Facebook and making sure that it's posted in all the groups in the areas, and the chamber has been very vital this year in helping us share it to different buck dancing groups and bluegrass groups on Facebook, so it truly takes a whole community. But Flash, speaking of Hayden, you won an award too for...
Well, I'm very honored,
and
very grateful.
we're thankful for you and our community. You do so much for us,
Well, I
and
appreciate that.
you're a vital part of our festival, and we hope you know how much we appreciate you.
You're very kind to say that, and I appreciate it. And hey, it's been on my calendar for 25 years right now, at least, going on 30. And I think I took the place when your dad who was he working with? Tony Hollowell.
Okay.
You remember Tony?
I do.
Tony now is in Orlando, Florida. Got a great magic show down there at the Wonderworks Museum. So goes by the stage name Tony Brent. But hey.
Well, we hate when anyone moves away from our area because we just think it's the best. But we're glad we got you roped in for life. You got plans the rest of your life, Flash.
That's right. Like the third Saturday in October when Tennessee plays Alabama, I think they changed that. You don't get married on that day.
Yes.
You don't have a family outing on that day. Well, you can't watch football.
Yeah. And now we did have a wedding one time in the parade. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Joey Dale and Leslie got married in the parade. And I'm like, man, that would have been the best. It's the best way to get married. Someone's already done it, though, or I would have so done that. But we celebrate their anniversary. My grandparents' anniversary falls during the Fiddlers Contest often. Christina, her birthday falls during the Fiddlers Contest. And so does Charles Douglas. They have the same birthday. So it really is. We all know these things because we've all been together this weekend for our entire lives.
Stephen, what are we missing this morning? What have we not covered that the people need to know about next weekend?
I think we've done a good job covering everything. I'm excited about the street dance. Of course, it's going to be in the gym, but still we're going to call it a street dance, I think. But I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to that band coming. I think they have a really good following. So, again, I'm hoping that those folks that come on Friday night will either stay here or make plans to travel back to our area on Saturday once they see how Friday night goes. And then they enjoy the day with us on Saturday as well. And maybe this is something that they can experience. It's an art. It's a cultural type deal here.
Yep.
So we really want them in our community, and we want them to be welcome and come back.
Absolutely.
Enjoy us 2 days.
Caitlin, a closing word.
Well, this is my favorite weekend of the year, and I'm excited for it. Just encouraging our own community to come out and see something that's going on here that your kids will enjoy, that the whole family can come out and have fun.
Absolutely. Might just ask you, how's things going with the business association downtown?
Everything's going good. I was thinking this morning, I was like, oh, we get through Fiddlers, and then it's Fair, then it's Halloween, and it's just like bam, 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 everything comes up. But we're excited for some things going on the square, some beautification ideas and things like that we've got.
And fair is early this year, isn't
The
it?
fair
It's
is
very early.
The fair is
Yes.
early this week. One thing a lot of people don't know is it's really hard to find a carnival, and you're kind of at their mercy. If you want a carnival, you've got to take the dates that they have available. So we worked really hard when we were at convention to get a carnival, and we were able to secure one. It is that very last week of July that runs into August and school starting, but that's when we could get them, and we're excited for it. We've got a good theme planned. Our fair board's working really hard, so be following the fair Facebook page for announcements coming up about that.
And Stephen, what about your work with the county commission? Things going well with the commission as we go forward now?
Things are going really well with our county commission. I think everyone is very informed of the decisions that we make and how we make them. Any issues that come up, I think people are very well, like I said, informed about it. Everything is so transparent, and it's wonderful. I think we have really good leadership within our county commission.
Absolutely. And in closing again, is there a web page or a Facebook page we can find out more about next weekend in Holiday, Tennessee?
Yes, you can go to holidaybluegrass.com, and you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram now. That's when we really try to push for what's new. So
Yeah, you can look us up on Holiday School or Old Time Bluegrass Fiddlers Jamboree on Facebook. Like Stephen said, the websites, and of course, listening to the radio, the newspaper, picking up Discover Magazine. You can learn more about Old Time
Absolutely.
Bluegrass Fiddlers Jamboree.
That's right. And Discover Magazine, that's a publication of Magic Valley Publishing, and a good article in there, as we've alluded to. Wayne Holiday has some comments in the article, and you can pick a copy up down, of course, at the Camden Chronicle, and I think at any of the Magic Valley properties in surrounding towns. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our program this morning, Operation 7570. Thanks to my wonderful guest this morning. Thanks to our sponsor, Apex Bank. Hope you have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you next weekend in Holiday, Tennessee. Have a happy Easter, everybody. See you next time.
Apex Bank of Camden is getting ready for the 15th annual Easter egg hunt. That's right, it's West